On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome Mallory Zuhde to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. From college soccer standout to ambulance driver to overcoming setbacks in her pursuit of law enforcement, Mallory refused to quit. Her pivot into firefighting and EMS launched her into a career she loves, now proudly serving as one of more than 17,000 female professional firefighters in the U.S. It's a story of resilience, reinvention, and service. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are, whatever you're doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on Facebook at Survive and Thrive 8791, the podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you like what you heard. If there's a topic or a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Glad you could join us. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduce our esteemed guest over here to my left, if you're looking at the podcast on a screen, she's to my right. I would like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing and the events we are hosting. If you're a business or an advocate for mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791@gmail.com. This is our guest and episode intro. And according to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Mallory?
Yes and no.
I like that little yes and a no. Well, if you live in my house, I don't need internet. I don't need Siri. I don't need anything. I get my wife, and she's always right.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Happy wife, happy life. According to an AI artificial intelligence overview, there are approximately 90,000 female fighters in the United States, US of A, making up about 9% of all firefighters. So that's not many. Of these, around 17,200 are career firefighters and 72,400 are volunteers. Today's guest is one of those career and volunteer folks, and she'll get into those two in a little bit. Today, I welcome Mallory Zuhde to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Mallory grew up in Waunakee, Wisconsin, and attended Waunakee High School, and is a proud warrior. After high school, Mallory would take her talents to Madison College and the University of Wisconsin Platteville before leaving to pursue a career in firefighting and EMS. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Mallory Zuhde, what is up?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Well, you were on your way home, so I thought, well, let's just pull over.
Super easy.
And super easy to get here from New Berlin. Are you living in New Berlin?
Greenfield, so right outside New Berlin. Yeah.
Okay. How do you like the Milwaukee traffic compared to the Waunakee traffic?
It's something. It's a lot.
It's something.
Sure.
So yeah, you take that little loop and
Sure
then kind of pick up 90 or 94 or whatever it is, and that the Milwaukee traffic can be hit and miss, and then you're over by the airport too, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's no joke.
No joke.
No joke.
How has the fall been treating you?
Pretty good. Busy with work and the move and family, hunting.
Did you get a chance to get to the pumpkin patch or the apple orchard?
I did not.
You did not?
No.
You're my second guest who has gone past that, bypassed that.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the holidays? Because we are shooting today on the 17th of November with Thanksgiving and then the holiday season right behind that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Being home with family, not having to work.
Not having to work. Yeah. Well, although sometimes it's nice to work on those holidays because you get the extra time and a half.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They incentivize that if you come in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Before we get to your story, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Do you cook?
I do at the firehouse.
You do. So what kind of genre, style, cuisine do they like in the firehouse?
They like anything, but my go-to is my chicken Alfredo, so I'm semi-Italian.
Chicken Alfredo,
Yeah.
semi-Italian. You like fettuccine or are
Fettuccine.
you spaghetti?
Fettuccine all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to cut the carbs a little bit, so we go with the angel here.
Oh, yes. Yes.
With their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back with locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and Mount Horeb. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. I got a little drum roll here. My table is very acoustically sound. Have you been to Buck and Honey's?
I have several times.
You have. So, I mean, Waunakee, for sure.
Waunakee and Mount Horeb.
And Mount Horeb. Okay, no Monona or Sun Prairie.
No.
Okay. Well, you can complete the
loop.
The loop. What do you enjoy when you go to Buck and Honey's?
Firecracker shrimp is my top food choice, and then the blackberry hibiscus martini.
Okay. Have you tried the firecracker shrimp? Obviously by themselves, but it also comes in the pizza form.
I have not.
You have not?
No.
I have not either. I like it by themselves, but I would encourage you to try the Bomber's Special Pizza. I've been eating that way before you were born, 1984. On the podcast, our guests follow the format for sharing their story like this. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like, Mallory's history, what happened to get Mallory on the podcast. And in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now. And we discuss Mallory's 5 suggestions for thriving. You grew up in Waunakee, Wisconsin, the only Waunakee in the world. What was life like growing up for you?
You know, looking at Waunakee now, it's huge compared to when I grew up, even though it was, not that long ago. 24, so just graduated high school in 2020. Mm-hmm. So it's not that long ago, but it sure has grown a lot.
It's exploded. I mean,
the new Aldi's.
A new Aldi's, and when you come into town from the Sun Prairie side,
yeah,
there's all those new houses and condos and condominiums right there on the right. And then on the other side, from the Middleton side, there seems like they're plowing up and moving dirt, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Riding bikes, skateboarding. What'd you do? Fishing?
Bikes, fishing, lots of fishing in the creeks. That was a big thing when I was young.
I was going to say you had that little pond just down by the village center
stink
there.
pond.
Stink pond. What made it stink?
I don't know. That's what they always called it.
And did it?
It didn't stink too bad. It has its days, but not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family growing up, mom and dad and an older brother.
Yeah. I still live, my mom and dad still live in the same house I grew up in, which is kind of cool. My older brother is now in South Dakota. He is 2 years older than me, and he's pursuing his law enforcement career out there. So.
Where did that come from? I'm going to ask this maybe a little earlier than I should, but that's service to your community. You know, you have policemen serve their community, protect and serve. And then, we're going to talk about your firefighting and EMS stuff, serving the community in a different way where you're maybe, putting out fires or putting people back together. Where did that come from, do you think?
I don't know. It's been a question that a lot of people have asked us, and we don't really know the answer. There's a couple people in our family that have some firefighting and police experience, but there's not many. My grandpa and my dad were both firefighters on volunteer departments, so maybe a little bit of that, but the police side, I am not sure where that came from.
I think it's just serving the community and wanting to give back, and both you and your brother are, two of the nicest people I think I've had a chance to work with, although I didn't get a chance to coach Riley, nor did I have in PE class, but he's just a respectable kid, and you're in the same boat. So you graduated from Waunakee High School in Waunakee, Wisconsin, and you're a proud warrior. What were some of your favorite memories from high school? I know one that we will definitely try to forget.
Yeah.
Graduating during COVID.
Graduating during COVID was rough. I actually did not have a graduation. So there's that. That was a little downfall, but soccer was a big thing for me. I played a lot of soccer in high school. And then the teachers actually were probably my favorite. I got along with all the teachers really well, and they really got me through that high school season for me.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way you were. I always hung out with my great uncle, kind of like I called him Grandpa. He's my great uncle, but it seemed because of that, I seemed to get along with the teachers more, and I spent a lot of time talking with the teachers more than I did my classmates. But yeah, sounds very similar.
Yeah.
You got any one particular or two particular teachers besides me that you leaned on or talked to?
Miss Doucette, I believe she's still there.
Shout out to Miss Doucette.
Yes, go Miss Doucette. Definitely was a big one. There was a lot of them, but Miss Doucette, Miss Johnson. They were the duo.
They were the dynamic duo. One is still there, Miss Johnson, sort of kind of retired from teaching and moved into a different profession.
Yeah.
And then Miss Doucette is still there. Miss Compton now.
Yes.
She goes by Miss Compton,
Yeah.
and they were both in the English department. And sometimes when you get into that English and you start writing papers and they have a chance to pull stuff out of you, like, what did you mean there? And, and can get into some good conversations. After high school, you would take your talents to Madison College, used to be MATC, and then the University of Wisconsin, Platteville. And soccer seemed to be the vehicle or the reason for your choice in colleges. Talk about those two stops, starting with Madison College.
Yeah, so I initially got asked to play for Madison College by the coach and was like, oh, this is super cool. It was a technical college, so I was still close to home. And then I signed for them and everything. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, man, I think I really want that 4-year university lifestyle, that feeling. And that's when I kind of was looking through schools and found Platteville and liked that like country outside aspect of it. I wasn't too
Of course, I'm very partial to UW Platteville because that's where I went to school.
Yeah. So I went there, played soccer, and then, I started my degree there and then ended up kind of pursuing on from there.
So when you were at Madison College, that's a 2-year school right here in Madison, Wisconsin. And did you have a thought as to what you were going to do later on down the line? Because a lot of students, young and old, when they want to go start college but stay close to home, they go there for the academics, kind of get started, and they don't know what they're going to do. Did you kind of have an idea at all? Yeah,
I was gung-ho on going into policing. So I knew that I wanted to go into policing since I was a freshman in high school.
And then that makes the move to UW Platteville a common thing because they have a criminal justice program, which has been really strong. I know Eau Claire, I don't know if you looked into Eau Claire, but Eau Claire also has criminal justice. But Platteville being close to home, you can get there pretty easy. And so how long were you there at Platteville?
I was there for 3 years. I was a year away from graduating and decided I wanted to pursue my career.
And that was fully in the policing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you leave Platteville, and where did you go from there?
I started doing a little bit of like on the fire side. I started at Mount Horeb as just an ambulance driver to, make that extra money a little bit. And I was still applying to police departments. College wasn't really my thing. I didn't love the school. So I started applying to police departments and kind of went that route while also being at Mount Horeb, dipping my toes into some fire stuff.
All right. I got the $50 question.
Yeah.
Because when I heard you say driving an ambulance.
Yeah.
Tell me a couple of stories about driving the ambulance. What's the fastest you've ever driven an ambulance?
Well, our ambulances top out at 82. So
82, so they got a little governor on them?
Yeah, they do, unfortunately.
Plus you're hauling around a lot of gear in that thing.
Yeah, and a person, so we kind of got to be careful.
People, yeah.
So 82 is the highest I'll go, but it
buried the needle at 82?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, any other cool stories?
Not cool. I mean, when you get a drive lights and sirens, it's always really fun. But I actually put the ambulance in the ditch 2 years ago.
Oh, you did?
On New Year's Eve, New Year's Day morning. So
and we can blame the roads for that?
We can for sure blame the roads. It was when we had a black ice morning, and it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and we got called out, and it was like, oh, crap. It's really bad out here.
I'm sure it wasn't crap, but it was maybe some other word.
Yeah. And I was maybe going like 30 and a 55, and you go around a curve and you lost it. We didn't hurt anyone. No one was in the back or anything like that. Just slid off the road.
If you're going to slide off the road and get into an accident, an ambulance is where you want to be.
Yeah.
So somebody's driving in their car or listening to the podcast right now.
Yeah.
And they're a fan of the podcast, and then they also probably have some questions. So when that happens, if an ambulance is on a 911 call and they're in the ditch, who does that baton get handed off to then?
Yeah, so we had to call our other ambulance that was actually at the station at the time to go to the call where we were originally going to deal with that while we tried to get out of the ditch.
Mm-hmm. So you had to probably have a wrecker or a tow truck come and pull you out.
Yeah, it was like a big tractor thing that we ended up having one of our friends got and pulled us out.
So they pull you out, and then do you then go back and go to the original call that you were on?
The other ambulance dealt with that, so we kind of just caught our bearings and went back to the station. But it was an ice rink out there.
Yeah, those are questions that, as we were talking, I didn't think we would get into, but they're pertinent questions because, when something happens, you gotta have a backup plan. Most departments, certainly of a certain size, have two ambulance.
Most do. Smaller departments do not. So some like Mazomanie in that area, Cross Plains, now they have two, but they only used to have one. So smaller departments had to rely on outside communities to come in and help them.
And if there's a situation where there's an accident, or as you're going on a call, somebody runs, you have to run red lights if you're in the city.
Yeah.
And somebody doesn't hear it, doesn't see it, and there's an accident with the ambulance, there's always a plan B for that whole situation then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because our listeners want to hear the rest of your story and what brought you to the podcast, I need to talk about our sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask, why Buck and Honey's? Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their employee assistance program, but Buck and Honey's does. Mallory Zuhde would follow her passion of playing soccer and going to college. Along the way, her other passion was to be a police officer, which she just talked about. When jobs were hard to find, another passion came and presented itself. In segment 2, you'll find out what that is. Please stay tuned. Don't change the channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365 and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios. on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm glad to be joined in the Buck and Honey's remote studios by a former student athlete and turned good friend, Mallory Zuhde. She's here to share her story about how her professional career has taken some twists and turns early in her professional life. But now she's found a new passion serving two communities as a firefighter and an EMT. So, segment 2, your passion to continue your soccer career takes you to a 2-year school, which was Madison College, and then a 4-year college, University of Wisconsin, Platteville. Along the way, you follow your dream of becoming a police officer. You would apply at several police departments, but for whatever reason, you couldn't get hired. And I find that truly hard to believe, because knowing you as your characteristics, personality, your work ethic, I just find that hard to believe. But of course, we're in COVID, and so maybe because of hiring freezes or whatever, things happen. We don't know.
Yeah.
But since the show has a mental health component to it, what was going through your head and what were you experiencing not being able to find your dream job? Was it anxiety? Was it depression? Go ahead and talk.
Yeah. So, there's a moment where I was like, what's my purpose now? After figuring out that I couldn't get a policing job for reasons that I still don't know about. Really, I don't really have a good answer about why I didn't get hired. And that makes it worse, right? Because you don't really know what to change, kind of how to get better from there. So there was always that mental block of like, is it me? Is it the department? Is it the time we're living in? So there was that thought of like, what's my purpose here now? Like I went through my dream, like I'm trying to get my dream job of being a police officer that I've wanted for several years, and I can't get it. And there was a moment where I had to be like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe that's some higher power saying that I shouldn't be into policing. But there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of, being down on myself, sleepless nights, not being able to kind of figure out like where I fit in life, right? And, it's hard to say, because as someone who was very driven and very about being on top, I felt like I got kicked to the bottom pretty fast. And, I had to navigate that by, pretty much just dealing with it. I worked out a lot. I started working out a lot. I started talking to people, and my parents really didn't know so much about the struggle because I was never really open to them about it. And that's just who I am, because I found people on the outside of my family that I really were able to open up a lot more to.
Let me go back for a second. So when you were applying, were you applying to police departments kind of in the southern part of the state so you could stay close to home and family and friends? Or were you applying all over the place?
I think I was applying all over the place. I applied for places northern Wisconsin, over Milwaukee, southern, like all over, but mainly in Dane County is where I was kind of sticking to. But yeah, I applied probably to a lot, probably 20, 30 police departments. And
I, once in a while, back when I was applying for jobs or listening and hearing people apply for jobs, well, you didn't get the job. Did they give any kind of feedback? Sounds like they weren't even giving you feedback.
It was very generic feedback. I remember I applied to a department when I was very young, 19, and I was told that I didn't have enough life experience, and I was like, okay, I could see that, right? I'm 19 years old. But later on, and I kept applying and I kept getting the same feedback of I don't have enough life experience. And, that was the confusing part, because I kept doing things. I kept trying to get involved in things and kept trying to get things under my belt and getting that experience. So that was the confusing part.
So you are coping by working out, staying in shape, because as a police officer, you got to chase down a bad guy or you got to wrestle somebody to the ground. You're staying in shape. How else were you coping?
The biggest thing was talking to people, reaching out to those my core group of people. But honestly, like if I'm being completely honest, my way of coping was just keeping busy, like working, which is, I know right now, like now I know is not the greatest, but that's what I did. Like I just kept working and kept working and kept working because I wouldn't think about it as much as if I wasn't working.
It's a good distraction. And you're probably the second or third in the last couple of months of guests I've had on where I said, well, what did you do? And a lot of internal searching and looking at yourself, but then I just stayed busy and kept busy, and it's good, healthy distraction until, maybe you can find other things that fill your bucket for reducing anxiety or making you feel better from depression. Without giving up, you find something kind of totally different. You found another way to serve the community that you were in. Tell us about where that started.
Yeah. So while I was still in Platteville, I kind of found out about Mount Horeb through a friend. And she was like, you could be a volunteer ambulance driver and just get that experience of public safety. And I was like, okay. Went there, loved the department, fell in love with it right away. And that was Mount Horeb.
Because you could drive with lights on and drive really fast.
Yeah, exactly. That was my sole job. And I fell in love very, very fast with just the community of Mount Horeb as well as like the people in the department. And I eventually continued to do that, and they put me through the Fire and EMT Academy, which is what I am now, and I've been there since, which has been now 3 years.
So if there's somebody listening, young female, anybody that's listening that is thinking about fire department, EMS, being a police officer, when you talk about this academy, in case somebody's writing down, where's this academy? Where's it at? What are they, is it a 6-week course? Is it a full year? Talk about that.
Yeah. So you can find it a lot of places. Technical colleges, so MATC or Madison College now, was where I went. And it was a semester of fire academy. And then I took the accelerated EMT academy, which was 8 weeks. So that was pretty fast. But I wouldn't have changed it. So
now driving past there, both on the one side, kind of behind it, and then I think it's Anderson Road that goes by, the backside of the airport as well. I see some of those structures that are up there. What are some of the things that you had to go through during those academies?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time out there in the Fire Academy. A lot of pulling hose, a lot of climbing ladders, a lot of spraying water, climbing stairs, sweating a lot. With
gear on, too?
With gear on, yes. It was tough, but it was a very good experience. So
when we're talking about gear, what are we, 50, 100 pounds? How many pounds of gear?
Well, it kind of depends. So usually I tell people it's between 70, 80, 90 pounds, depending on how much you got on.
It's almost as much as you weigh.
Yeah, it's about, more than half my body weight, that's for sure.
So with the EMT then, were you doing that like one during the day and one in the morning and then one in the afternoon? If somebody's going to try to pull off, hey, I'm going to do exactly what she did.
You can do both at the same time. I wouldn't suggest it just because one's physically demanding and one's mentally demanding. However, I did mine. I did Fire Academy first, and then I did the EMT Academy. So it was about 6 months of school total, but I did not do them at the same time.
And you had to be in obviously pretty good shape, but are there injuries that occur when you're going up and down and dragging hoses?
There are, but that's the big thing about prior to Fire Academy is to work out, to get that in shape and prevent those injuries. I never had an injury, which thank gosh, but I know some people that have had injuries. Yeah.
And do they do once you're in the academy, do they encourage you to work out on your own, or do they have that built in to work you out?
They, depending on the academy, so I've been through 2 academies, and one was just to get my certifications, and that was specific, just get your certifications, do the tactical stuff, and they encourage it outside of the academy for sure.
Okay. Well, being a female in a profession that is dominated by men, how have you navigated? I gave you that stat at the beginning that there are basically 9% of all firefighters are women, and that's not 50-50. It's one of my favorite shows is Chicago Fire on Wednesday night, and I see a lot of women in there.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not representative of what it actually is. Talk about how you've navigated that.
Yeah. I think public safety in general is a male-dominated field. We're seeing more and more women in it, which is great. There's a lot of positives to having women in protective services. And I think navigating it for me was easier growing up with my brother playing football and having all the boys over, just being surrounded by that kind of boy-man feeling. And I've been able to navigate it pretty easily. Obviously, there's some ups and downs of guys can be guys, women can be women, type of thing like that. But ultimately, like the guys that I work with are amazing. A lot of them have become older brothers, that feeling of having a family, having an older brother or uncle or father figure to look up to. And not a lot of departments can say that, and not a lot of women on those departments can say that. And so I'm grateful that I have had those opportunities and kind of had that family aspect.
I really like how you brought in that a little analogy that you grew up with an older brother, and it certainly helps navigate the relationships you have with your guys in your department now, and that's like the relationship with you had with your brother's friends that would come over, and so you're used to talking with males, older males, and it I think that really helps. Is it a prerequisite? I don't think it is, but it definitely helps you fit in. Have you run into any negative situations, and then how did you deal with that? Because somebody who goes into it, I think they need to know that there could be some potential pitfalls for being a female in a male-dominated profession.
Yeah. I think that men not necessarily mean to come across this way, but they potentially could think of us as females as not as strong, not as willing, not as able. And I don't think it's necessarily their fault, but that's just something that it is what it is in the fire service. That's what we kind of have to deal with as females. But that just means we have to prove ourselves to everyone, not just the guys, but even other females on the department. And that's kind of how the negative that I've seen is like, some guys offer to help because they think I'm struggling, when in case like it's not that way, but they just want to help. But they can sometimes come across as just because you're a female means you can't do what we can do type of thing. Just means that us as females have to do things a little different.
Yeah, thinking about that, my own situation and how I look at things 30 years ago, I might have thought, what a bunch of jerks. But you know what? In hindsight, they probably are asking because they care, and they want to make sure you succeed. Or they just want. That's why they're in public service, is that they're used to helping one another. And I'm glad you look at it that way, because you could turn it around the other way. Hey, I don't need help, and turn a negative situation and make it even worse.
Yeah.
What have some of the positives been to being a female firefighter?
Yeah. I love my job. I think that being a female has its positives in public safety. Like I said earlier, I think that we have a little better way of calming people on the presence of a call. And not saying guys don't at all, because there are some guys that are great at doing that. But I think females have that kind of presence to them that people are a little more chill and relaxed when they see us. It also comes back to my policing, when I was pursuing policing and being now a female firefighter and having female police officers now that I'm working with directly, and having those relationships with them has been amazing. Working with them on calls, being able to kind of navigate each other and how police need to do things and how fire needs to do things. And I think having lots of females is a benefit to the fire service and policing and EMS.
I love it. Tell us what a day in the life, I'm going to break these into two, because they're two separate things, similar but different. Tell us what a day in the life of a firefighter is like. So you sent me your schedule. You talked about it of, you had like 36 hours, was it, on, and then 96 off. I could be wrong in the numbers.
So right now I work 48 hours on and 96 hours off. So I run both firefighter and EMT at my current job. So some run separate, some run just EMT, but I feel like they're all kind of similar to what they do in day in life. Our start time's 8 o'clock in the morning. So we get there, check in our rigs, check in our equipment, make sure everything's there, make sure our gear's there. And then, we kind of have a morning brief, if you want to say, coffee around the table, kind of talking about how our 4 days off were, what we got going for the shift. And then it's pretty much dependent on calls after that. We plan things like fire inspections, we plan things like trainings, but we don't always get to them because we have to really do the calls that come in, right? So if a call comes in, we have to drop what we're doing, whether that's training, inspections, eating dinner, sleeping, whatever that is, and go to the call. And that's pretty much every day. So every day is different, which is why I love the job.
Yeah, you don't know what behind door A is or door B. It's always going to be something different. Do you have a fire pole?
Mount Horeb we do, and we use it all the time. New Berlin we do not. So it's actually going away just as like years go on. In the past it's been, it's that kind of tradition to have a fire pole. In Mount Horeb we do, and we use it a lot, so it's pretty fun.
Let's back up for a second. We talked, you mentioned, and I mentioned the career fire department or career firefighter. In New Berlin, you are career. What does that mean?
Yeah. So career means I am full-time work. So just like anyone's a full-time whatever they do for a profession, I'm a full-time career firefighter. That's what I do for my career. So like I said, my schedule's 48-96, so I work 48 straight at the station. So I don't go home at night. I stay at the station for 48 hours, and then I have 96 hours off, which is actually really nice.
And then we now talk about the EMT stuff and career or volunteer.
Yeah, so fire or EMS could be volunteer or career. I started as a volunteer EMT and firefighter at Mount Horeb, and that's kind of where I got my feet wet with that. And volunteer is you're not really getting paid as much or at all, depending on the department, and you're there for when calls happen. Rather than a career, we're there for everything, for all the inspections, all the trainings, everything, plus the calls. So you can do, as a volunteer, you see them like coming to the station from home. That's kind of where that volunteer comes from. And a career, you're pretty much at the station all the time. With
many years left in your professional career, do you have any, what are your like goals? Is there like a big time goal? Because I think I know what that is, and that would be the chief of the fire department.
Yeah.
but there's other things that probably work your way up. Do you have any goals?
So obviously, so I'm an EMT. I can get paramedic, which is a higher level of medical certification, which is what I would like to get eventually, probably in the next 2 years.
What does paramedic allow you to do that an EMT can't do?
A lot. So intubations, medications, IVs, needle decompressions, all of that kind of stuff.
Some of the cool stuff.
Yeah. So that's kind of one big goal that I have. Another big goal, my ultimate dream job would be to do flight medic. So be in the helicopter doing
med flight.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you could drive that someday too.
Possibly.
Don't put that one in the ditch.
No lights and sirens on that one though.
No lights and sirens. Risk.
Yeah.
So risk with fire and EMT. Talk about some of the risks that come with the job.
Yeah, so you sign up for this job knowing that you are putting your life at risk, right? So I signed the papers knowing that I could die any day on the job. And that is a hard pill to swallow for many people and many of my family. However, I've kind of came to peace with it and realized like I'm doing this job for something bigger than myself. So I'm not doing this job for myself, because if I was, I wouldn't be choosing this job. This job is hard mentally and physically, but I'm doing it because I want to help other people. It's dangerous, right? Even in EMS call, that is, you think people go on EMS calls and it's totally fine. Like, we have seen so many things in the news of people have weapons on them that we don't know about, and they get in the back of the ambulance, and now they turned on these medical providers. And so it's things that, you know, we think we're going to go into a safe spot, but really anything can be unsafe. You know, you just have to trust your partners, trust the police officers that you're partners with as well. But that's what I signed up for. I signed up for something bigger than who I am and for myself. So it's kind of what I signed the papers for.
Yeah, I like that it's risky in anything you do. Mm-hmm. I do have to ask, because of the mental health aspect, what kind of services are there when you go to a call and something happens? What services are there for you and as a firefighter and an EMT?
Yeah.
And what's there?
Yeah, I've been on, even my short 3 years of being in this career, I've been on a fair share of hard things to see. And one of those things is pediatrics. So kids is a big thing that's close to my heart, that I want to help, but also like it happens to kids too. And so I've been on a fair share of many kid calls that are not good, but there's resources like, we do debriefs usually on big incidents with the whole department or with crews that are there. There's, you know, employee assistant programs that are available for us. But the big thing is like talking about it with your crew. And that's kind of where I found helpful for me, is to talk about it with someone who was there and that could possibly be feeling the same thing I'm feeling. And that brings me back to, you know, I see so much bad on this job, and there's a big stigma that many people probably don't even realize, that police officers, firefighters, EMTs are looked at as we don't have a heart or we don't have feelings, because we can show up to a call that's really, really bad and we could get cleared from that and then go do our job and go to another call and be perfectly fine. And it's hard. It's hard to navigate that as an outsider, and it's hard to navigate that as someone who works in the job. But it's also important to know that, like, we have to stay ready and we have to stay doing our job. We can't stay low and we can't stay sad and we can't, you know, be upset that someone passed away. Like, we have to do our job. A lot of people think like we don't have feelings, but that's not it. Like, if we didn't have feelings, we wouldn't be doing this job. We actually want to like help those people. I've
had tremendous amount of respect for police. I had an uncle who was a policeman in Milwaukee and then became a detective. So I've always respected people in uniform, and certainly the job that ambulance people have done, EMTs, firefighters. I think more people need to look at what you're talking about and take some of that in and just say, okay, hey, they have a tough job to do and they got to do it no matter what. And they are choosing it because they care and they do have feelings. And I think it's a profession that you have to give them respect because they are doing a tough job. This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. Here are Mallory Zuhde's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive becoming a female firefighter and an EMT. Here's what you shared, and I'm going to toss these in underhand, softball style. Can you hit a softball?
Probably.
Still
got it in me.
Still got it in you. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to toss these in, and I'm going to give you 60 seconds to respond. And, you wrap it up as much as you can and make it make sense. Okay. The first one, number 1, don't get complacent. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, this is a big one in protective services. Just making sure that you realize that everything can change and everything is different. No call is going to be the same. So being able to kind of adapt to what those changes are going to be and not be stuck in the mindset that, oh, this is just a fall, or this is just a fire alarm, or this is the same address we go to all the time. It could be real. So have that mindset of this could be something real.
Number 2, prioritize your health physically and mentally. This job will test both. The fire ground demands strength, endurance, and focus, but the emotional weight can be even heavier. Take care of yourself, stay fit, rest when you can, talk when you need to. There's no shame in asking for help. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. A healthy firefighter is a better firefighter. I mean, I probably said it. I probably said exactly what you were going to say, but it's so well said and written. Talk about that.
Yeah. Just really take care of yourself. Put yourself on your priority list when you're not at work. Doing something other than work is important. Having those other things that you like to do, having the other passions, talking to people if you need to talk. Don't be afraid to talk because, honestly, talking solves a lot of things, and as well as working out sells a lot of things mentally as well.
Well said. Number 3, be a student of the craft. No one ever knows it all in this job. Every fire, every call, every mistake is a lesson. Learn from the old timers, train like lives depend on it because they do, and stay humble enough to keep growing. Knowledge and skill are what keep you and your crew alive. Go ahead and hit that. Yeah.
Kind of similar with don't be complacent. Find something new to learn every day. That's kind of why I put that in there. You don't know everything. You don't know it all. So find something new every day. There's always something to learn from people you work with, even from the new people, as well as every call. You can learn something from it.
Number 4, build your resilience. You'll see things that stay with you, moments that test your heart and spirit. Don't bury them, process them. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah. Find those things that help you. Find your family, find your friends, find your faith, whatever it is. Make sure that you know your morals and values within the job and, stay strong and build that mental resilience, build that physical resilience to, be able to do this job.
And handle things that come at you.
Yeah.
And number 5, remember your why. You chose this life for a reason, to serve, to protect. Talk about that.
Make sure that you have your why, whatever it is you do, whether it's firefighting, policing, whether it's your career that you're doing right now. Remember your why. If you don't have a why, find it, because that's gonna be what's keeping you going.
It will be. And this is kind of like a sort of a number 6, because we talked about it before I hit the record button, and you said you have some one-liners, some quotes, some things. Do you have 3 that you can share with our crew today?
One, this one's kind of a big one, but I've heard it a lot. It says, if a flower doesn't bloom, do you blame the flower or do you blame the environment? So, this can be an analogy to ourselves. So if we're not blooming in the spot that we're at, are we going to blame ourselves or are we going to blame the environment? We're going to hopefully change that environment to change ourselves.
I like that. Number 2.
Self-doubt is a big one. We're our worst critic. So you are suffering from self-doubt while others are intimidated by your full potential. So just because someone is intimidated by you doesn't mean you're wrong, right? So they probably see something more in you that you see in yourself. So, being able to reach your full potential and prove people wrong is huge.
And you like doing that.
Yeah.
And number 3?
Number 3, I have as a Bible verse. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." This was a big one for me. Just because you're young doesn't mean you have nothing to prove. So getting out there, showing that you are important, showing that you have something to prove, and being bigger than you could ever imagine yourself being.
Good stuff. I'm sure people wrote, normally I have 5 things, and you gave us the 5 things, but then I could sense that you were passionate about, I've got some things, other things I want to share, so I wanted to make sure that we got those as well. Awesome. What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today. Your story and how you managed to work through the changes thrown at you is inspiring. Your story reminds us all to have coping skills or mental health tools in the toolbox when a person is met with life's challenges. And despite that, you have survived and are thriving. Our call to action, Mallory Zuhde just shared her story and how she had to change her professional goals and keep adapting to life. She has endured and persevered. Here are Mallory Zuhde's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive. Number 1, don't get complacent. Number 2, prioritize your health physically and mentally. Number 3, be a student of your craft. Number 4, build your resilience. And number 5, remember your why. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts? Mallory Zuhde.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Juan Dico for having me on the podcast.
Awesome.
And thanks to everyone in my life who's got me to where I am. Everyone, you know who you are. Every department I've been on, every person that's come into my life, you've shaped me into who I am. So thank you.
Well, I've had a tremendous amount of respect for you when you came through Waunakee High School and were roaming the halls, and just being able to be a part of that, a cog in the wheel, and then to see you going above and beyond the call of, duty, for a lot of us. I mean, I teach, and there's some other things that a lot of other people do, but you're in a profession that really is demanding physically and mentally. And I will always keep you in my prayers to make sure that you're safe and healthy, and just keep doing what you're doing. And maybe someday you'll be the chief of the fire department with all of these life experiences you've had. So good luck. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learn to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.